That was pretty awesome, right? It was really tightly linked to the edit. It felt composed. I know it was only a few seconds, but just wait till you see what I'm going to show you now. I'm honestly going to change your music workflow forever. Basically, we're inside of Adobe Premiere Pro, and we're in the Filmstro extension. So it's a music platform like any other in terms of the kind of look and feel, maybe with the browse. So like Epidemic, you go and look at music, listen to music. But that's where the similarity ends, because basically we can now also play this dynamic version. So we're going to already have a go at this. Obviously not the right feel at all for this edit, but it just gives you an idea. So we can already kind of take a piece of music for a spin, explore its whole kind of emotional range, all the different peaks you can kind of hit and the troughs you can go to just really, really sync up with your edit. So it's about scoring, rather than just like dropping a track on it, or even worse, having a pre-existing stock track and then having to make your edit fit the music. Like, why are you working that way around? Like, a composer has to work to your edit. So this music will also work to your edit, right? So respect your picture, get the music to do what you want. So let's get the one I'm going to actually use, which is a track called Revenge, which we've got in here thanks to Filmright, aka Triune, who we did some content collaboration with, and this is one of theirs. So yeah, this is a really, really awesome track. Let's show you a little bit of it now. Again, I'll just switch to these ones. Nice. Okay, cool. Let's go in the edit then. This is where the magic happens. So basically, inside of here, we can now edit this track and do some really, really cool stuff. So I'll just reset the music length to its default. So this is the length of the original composition, if you like. But the thing that we can do, which is so epic, is we just go from Premiere, hit OK, and bang. This music length now, the duration of the track is the same as your in and out point, right? The difference between the in and out, which is only about 36 seconds or something for this particular edit. So imagine, we're working on a scene here, and I'm going to use two tracks, this one and another one, just to really, really finesse and just get it right and make it just sound composed, basically, and perfect. So we've got the first one loaded up. It's currently probably a bit on the full-on side. So if I play this, for example, we've got sync enabled, by the way, in here as well, of course. So if I play that, yeah, too much. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to just put my playhead all the way to the left, and once it's in the left-hand position, there's a special feature which allows you, only when it's in the left, leftmost position, you can then do this, right? You can just holistically move the sliders and just set whatever starting position you want. I want this one. So have a listen to this. Yeah, really, really nice, kind of just scary ambient kind of background thing. But we want to ramp in pretty quickly. We've got a few ways of doing this, right? So we can either, we go to the relevant parameter, right? In this case, I want to change the power. So I could just double click anywhere I want and just drag that keyframe up. Or we could go like this. We could actually hit this button, which then introduces a keyframe at the playhead. And then that keyframe is actually synchronized with the slider. So you can then just do it like that. Yeah, it comes to the same thing. Or third way is you can basically just draw it in yourself. So you just grab the Alt key I'm hitting on the Mac here and just draw it in yourself. And if you don't like the shape you've done or whatever, it's not quite right, then you can just highlight with, or do a selection with Shift, and then right click and add a transition. So kind of like so concave, for example, so like just cleans it up. So it's like an ease in. When you do drawing or live mode stuff, let me just show you live real quick. Here we go. This is the third way of doing it. Yeah, so you're just drawing it in like that. So I'm just, in charge there. I'm going to also switch overwrite on. Now, overwrite is basically just another way of doing this, where instead of it just making a small change in that area where I was, it actually just it's going to apply this to the rest of to the track, which is actually useful because at the moment, by adding just one keyframe in here, it went up and then it's gone back down. But actually, what if I wanted it to be high all the way? Well, I would just do this. Ready? So we're going to hit play, and I'm just going to record this in now like this. And then it stays up all the way, right? Which is cool. That's still not what I actually want though. So let me now, for actual real, do this. Let's have a think. I'm going to move this one up. All right, cool. I think that's going to actually probably do the trick. Should we have a listen? Let's see. Yeah, nearly. I want that hit to be there though. Here we go. Okay, let's save. By the way, really important, you've got to save inside the session, as in the Filmstro extension, right? So just doing Command S for your Adobe session, your project, whatever, that's not going to cut the mustard. You've got to do it in here because it's separate. You know, we're a third-party plugin, not Adobe, obviously. So that's now saved that. You can then go and get it from sessions and reopen it later and stuff. So it's all good. All right, let's have a quick listen to that then so far. Loving the start, it's all good. Nice. Awesome. Really nice. And that's actually the end. That's the end of the track, right? Because as you heard earlier when we listened to the whole track, obviously it was in a more full-on kind of inflection, the slider settings, but that's the end, and it's a beautiful musical ending. It starts with the beginning, has a middle, has an end, so that's all good. So we're going to just render this, export that out. By default, it'll just end up in your project bin, in your audio bin there, media file, whatever. So we'll drag that in. Okay, part one done. Let's just crack on. We're going to go now. I'll listen to that in a minute, but we're going to first go back now to browse. We're going to get another track. This time I know I want something really percussive, so I'm going to go instrumental palette, go down to percussion. Have I gone past it? No, here we go. Percussion, and it's going to be this one. By the way, let me show you something. In when we listen to music here, there'll be another feature in a minute, which is going to look a bit like this, right? You'll have 4 buttons to just very quickly get a sense of what a piece of music can do, because as you've probably experienced, when you're going through an ordinary music library, it's an audio waveform, and you've got to scrub through, and you've got to like figure out, well, where's the climactic bit I might want, or where's the bed that I need, or where's the whatever. And music, obviously, you know, has its own evolution, and static tracks do whatever they do. Ours is different, again, because, you know, it can be what you want it to be when you want it to be that. So, for example, if I show you this one, so here's basically just a bed. There's more like an underscore, climax, and then here's a build and a drop. So, and they can just be switched on whenever, and you just get to hear them straight away. So anyway, you get the idea. So back in here then, we could do something similar once that's in here. But for now, I could just, of course, play these again. So here we go, get a bit of an idea. Yeah, nice. So I'm going to use that. And I want to strip out a lot of the stuff that isn't purely percussive, because I've got this idea that when these guys start fighting, by the way, it's now pulled in the same length again that we had earlier, but that's not what I want. So I'm going to go set music length default, okay. And now we're going to change this. We actually want to go from roughly where we're going to bring this in. So I reckon about here, you know, is where they're going to start fighting. Actually, probably a bit later, isn't it? Yeah, let's try and get this really perfect. So from here, I'm giving it a little bit of space. I don't even know how long this is, but it's like probably 40, 50, 10, 20, 30. I don't know. It's 20, 30 seconds of music, so that's fine. Let's go set music length from Premiere, bang. So that's now our track. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, hit template, maximum, because this gives me this really epic setting. And now I can basically have a listen to this. And while it's playing back, I'm going to go on stems, and I'm going to look at, well, which tracks do I want to remove, because I don't want to listen to things that are non-percussive, if you see what I mean. So basically, anything that isn't percussion, I'm just going to strip out, because I want this really, really kind of, yeah, just pure fight, sort of just a pulse and a rhythm, and just that kind of really aggressive sound. So let's have a listen. Oh yeah, we want to mute that track we've already rendered. Obviously, we could unsync to do this as well. Which actually I might as well do that. We don't have to mute then. So we're unsyncing, so we're just using the Filmstro thing right now. We're not listening to the Premiere stuff. And here you can see I've soloed this, right? And I don't want it. Off it goes. Don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want that. Definitely don't want those voices. Okay, that's probably good enough. Nice, nice. Okay, so now we've got our percussive track. Let's just sync back up, and now we'll play, and we'll just mute the original music though for a sec, just to see where we're coming in. Maybe even mute the Foley, just so I can really pay attention to the timings now. That's actually pretty epic, wasn't it, mate? I feel like we could we synchronize with ba-ba-da-bum when he kind of puts his hand down there? Let's change this a little bit then. So do we want to be earlier or later? I think later. So how do we zoom? I'm not a massively brilliant at video editing, as you may have guessed. So let's try that. Okay, so set music length from Premiere. Okay, and okay, amazing. Now we will make it shorter because we want that music to stop, don't we? At the end of the scene. So let's do that. Okay, I'm going to give it a bit of space. Let's just do that. Okay, so we've set the length. Let's have a listen what the ending's going to be like. Yeah, pretty cool. That is really nice already. Let's render that then. So save. Like 2 and export. Okay, here it is, and we chuck it in. We'll put it where that timeline starts, obviously. We'll unmute these guys. We'll probably trim this back because that was really just an audio tail, if you remember. That music actually finished naturally anyway, and then it just came down. We want to probably add a little fade in there because we don't want that too much volume at the same place. And then we'll also just bring this down by, let's say, about 6 dB or something. 7.5 will do. Bang. Let's have a check. Like it. Hang on. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty epic. I feel like that music could come in a little bit later still though, so we could probably extend that a tiny bit. Oh my god, video editing, here we go. Let's make that music a tinsy bit longer there. Go back into here, set music length from Premiere, okay. And I'll just export straight away, see if it's done it. Bring that in, we'll be easily be able to see if it has or not. Yeah, you can see that there, right? Can you see it's a bit longer? Yeah, so we've done the tiny change, made it longer, so I'll just delete the first one, drag this one up. I'll probably have to go down by 7.5 again, or whatever it was. Hello, minus 7.5. Okay, let's check this out then. Hang on, okay, go. Cool. Cheer. Okay, yeah, that's it. Nice. So there you go. That's basically it in a nutshell. So I don't know how long that took. This is one of those ones where, you know, I'm doing it completely off the cuff, no real preparation. So we'll check that out now. Last little demo. I love it. You know, it's like scoring your story instead of just dropping a track on it. You can just do so much better, I think. So yeah, I hope this is useful and happy editing.